Welcome everybody, my name is Sally Dymond. Thanks for joining us here at 12:30 Monday for our 90-day challenge call. So to get started, we're going to go through our recognition as we do every week. So let's get started. Hopefully this is going to work. So we have a new director 300 this week. We have Melo Del Oisto. I'm sorry, I didn't probably say your name. We have a new director 700. We have Eloisa Valoroso and Karen Orlando. So well done, congratulations. We have a brand new bronze in the Philippines. We have Fernando Valoroso. So congratulations to Fernando. That's our first executive rank there in our rank. Our top enrollers for this week, we have in number 3 place Jen and Jeanette. Well done. B.L. Gann and Lisa Chase from the US. In second place, we have our wonderful Richard and Kelly Moore taking second place prize there. And our top enroller for this week, drum roll, is the wonderful Kim from Timaru. I don't know if Kim's on the call, but well done, Tim. Can't wait to come and see you in a couple of weeks down in New Zealand. So she was our number 1 enroller for this week, 14th to the 23rd. Our top contactors for the week in number 4 place here, we have Lorna Golombik and Laurie Brink. Well done. In third place, we have Joanne Furman. Congratulations. And in our second place, we have Colette Garside. And our number 1 contactor for the week was Julie and Sasha. Woo! Well done, superstars. They're out there moving and grooving, sharing the molecules, and Jeannie going. So well done to both of you.
Sally, can I just interrupt for a sec? We're all struggling to hear. Can you mute Miriam? I think that's where the problem's coming in.
Okay.
Thanks, Sal.
I think, is that better?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I thought I had muted everyone.
No, that's great. Thank you.
Mute. There's a couple. If you're muted there and I can't see, if you can just mute yourselves.
Yeah, there's a couple of others, but Miriam had the most noise coming through, and we do want to hear what you're saying, Sally.
Okay.
Yes, wow. So there's one more. Tracy, if you could mute yourself as well, please.
Tracy Carl. Tracy Carl's muted. Is there another Tracy?
No, the one I can see is not muted. I think we're all good, Sal. Thanks, darling.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Okay, so we have, I'm sorry, I've got my screen here. I've got 2 screens, and let me just move this one out of the way. So I can't see any of you right now. I can see, oh. Did that just mess up my...
You're all good, Sally.
Okay, perfect. So our reach for the beach here, we have our grand prize there, which you can see, suite for 2, $2,000 travel reimbursement. Our first prize, room for 2, $1,500 US travel reimbursement, and our swag. Already in second prize there, we have Richard. So he is off to the beach packing his bags. And we have a third prize winner here with Julie and Sasha off to the beach. And they've got a room for 2 and $500 travel reimbursement. So keep striving for the beach there, crew, because there's already some of our team that's on their way. You can see on our leaderboard here, we've got Richard up there on the top, and Julie and Sash, Kelly and Aaron, B-Sync Life, Paula and Barry are getting very close there to securing their little beach chairs in the South Pacific. Leon, so if you see your name there, well done, you're on the way to hitting the beach. There's another page coming down here, so you can actually see all of this in your virtual office and see where you're ranking there and see what you actually need to do to complete. So we want lots of you at the beach, so keep going, keep striving. I think we're halfway through now the competition, and there's still lots of time to make that leaderboard if you're not on it. So there we go. What do you need to do to make it happen? Full details, of course, are in our 90-day challenge course in Genie. Total enrollments there for the 4th prize, we need 15 enrollments with a total volume of 5,000, and that's added up over the entire time, including their auto ships. In our Genie library, you can see all of the recordings from these calls are placed in our 90-day challenge on the courses tab. When you click on that, you'll be able to see the little drop-down folders when you open up the folders. So make sure you're keeping up to date. If you miss the calls, you can go in and see them. Our next call will be our Redox Talks, which is on Tuesday night. It's going to be with Nicole, of course, sharing your story on social media. So don't miss that tomorrow night. Okay, now getting into my little presentation here. So when Nicole asked me to run a little presentation today on getting to the point, I actually sat down and thought about what is it that makes me get to the point, that makes me have people listen to me. They always say, one of the things is that they say, people always listen to what you say, Sally. So I sat down and I really thought about why is it that maybe people listen to what I have to say and why I'm so direct and to the point. And I think it's when you become an influential person, it happens over a period of time. So I broke down what it is over the 28 years in my history of my career in doing what I've done that's brought me to this point where you could say I'm an influential person, where I can influence someone to make a decision very quickly, or I can tell them to do something and they actually do it, you know, in a particular order. So I thought I'd break down and highlight some of those things that make someone an influential person, or to become a better person so that others will follow, learn, and be inspired by you. So one of the first things that I can recommend, and you know, I'm certainly no show pony that goes out and dresses up, but I do, when I feel like I'm down a little bit, go out and treat myself to shop for a new outfit or, you know, get a few new clothes. So you want to be grooming yourself right. If you've got a self-image where you're trying to strive to be something, or you've got goals around looking something, then why not Photoshop a self-image of yourself where you've lost 20 kilos or your face has got no blemishes on it? Because remember, what you look at is what you actually become. So if you can get that image in your mind right, then that could be something that could help you start to see and focus on your vision board, or maybe you're going to put it on your fridge. You want to get to know yourself a little bit. So I spent a lot of time many years ago starting to write a journal when I was going through some of my own things and starting to redesign myself and redevelop my new circle of friends. It was about the time where ASEA came into my life and I started to journal a little bit. Someone's just joined the call. If they can just mute themselves, please. So you might like to write a journal about your thoughts. I started to journal. Someone said to me, start writing a journal. Well, that idea scared the dickens out of me. I didn't want to sit and write. They said, get a really small piece of paper and start writing. I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. And I actually did start writing, I hate this. And then I thought to myself, this is really a stupid waste of time. Why don't I pick a topic that I actually like and start to write about it? So I started to journal about the things I loved about yoga, the things I loved about my job, the things I loved about travel. And then I started to go deeper within it. Some of the topics, you know, surrounding family or the things that really irritated me, I started to write on those topics and then go, well, what is it that I love or hate about that irritating thing? And it actually helps you really discover who you are and some of those things that are really nitpicking and driving you crazy, so that when you get it out of your mouth and into and out of your head onto paper, it really helped me align and get rid of some of that baggage that we all seem to carry around with us. Another thing is to be kind and generous to others or strangers, and that actually helps to improve your self-image. Being prepared is always key. So being prepared, writing lists, and that goes with your daily jobs, it goes with your ASEA business, it goes with your action plan, writing it the night before. So if you can write a list the night before of what needs to happen the next day, you can get up and action it very, very quickly instead of sitting at your desk and wondering what on earth you're going to do today. You've wasted some time. So, you know, getting on to what needs to happen and the difficult tasks first, then you can tick them off your list and really get on with your day. When I was at the Tony Robbins conference just recently, one of the things he had us do was role play a few different things. And one of the things that stood out for me was being able to stand up tall and speak with purpose. Because when you actually change your posture and you bring your shoulders back and you speak with direction, people actually start to take notice of you because you're speaking with that confidence and you have that purpose that you're coming. So at a time where you're presenting maybe ASEA or you're just talking to people and you're really trying to grab someone's attention, if you put yourself in that posture, it automatically reflects that confidence and gives you that upper edge, let's just say. And I always say the things that I'm going to talk about today, you're not going to be able to take all of them on board at once. So just pick a couple of them and start changing one thing at a time. So change a small habit. or really just observe yourself in the next few days or the next week and look at how you're dressed, how you're standing, how you're talking, how you're sitting when you're on the phone to someone, and start to incorporate some of these really, really basic things into your everyday actions so that you can then start to create some change. So one of the things you can do is just, treating people with respect all the time. So it starts with respecting yourself and being able to say no and don't feel guilty about it. One of the things for me being really, really busy and having a lot of balls in the air is that I had to actually be able to say no to people and not carry that burden with me anymore. So it's something I'm still learning, but I think I've learned it fairly well. Actually, this morning I got back from yoga. I felt pretty miserable and crappy, so I took myself to bed for an hour and I turned my phone off. So I don't feel guilty about doing it anymore because that's what my body needed at the time. When someone shows you disrespect, stand up with that posture and say, please don't speak to me that way. And that's giving them the indication that you're, confident. So it's all about having yourself built in a frame that you're going to start to be respected. And then when you show respect, same thing. So always follow the golden rule, treat others the way you expect to be treated, always. And one of the great books that I read is a Hawaiian book, actually. We've just come back from Hawaii, but it says, it's the Zero Limits book. Learn to say, I'm sorry, I forgive you, please, and thank you. They're 4 of the most important things you could ever learn to do. And in my family, it's really, really hard for me to say I'm sorry, or it was hard, whereas when you start to incorporate some of these things, so just think about those 4 words and start to incorporate them in and see how your life really can change. But I really do recommend that book. It's a fantastic book to read. So genuine people, when you look at genuine people and being genuine 100% of the time, genuine people speak their mind, they forge their own path. They respond to internal expectations, not external ones. They're not threatened by failure, and they have solid self-esteem. And one of the really important things is holding no judgment. So, I saw a great quote today. Someone had posted about leaders. Leaders don't gather followers. Leaders create more leaders. So, being that genuine person always, that really holds you in good stead when people meet you. They want to know that you're the real deal and that you are genuine. And it's okay to speak your mind if that's what you believe in, that's your truth, and that's what you stand for, then stand for it. And showing genuine interest in others. There's always that important thing about people are really interesting if you show interest in them. So there's no denying that the most interesting subject that keeps a person fascinated and intrigued all day long has their name written on it. So when we're talking to people about making a contact and building a relationship, we really want to be having them talk about themselves, because that's what people love to do. And you want to be genuinely interested in other people. Ask them questions, what they like, what they don't like, where they've been, and what they do. Those people can talk about themselves all day long without getting tired. And when everything's said and done, they're going to tell you how wonderful and fascinating you've been, because you've just showed a keen interest in them and you've really been listening. So when you become genuinely interested in another person, they will naturally grow in appreciation and admiration for you. And this will only help you to become a greater influencing force in their lives. So whenever possible, always acknowledge people's accomplishments, abilities, desires, potential, and ideas. And I know our Team Marvelous there, Sharon, amazing job you guys are at acknowledging people, welcoming them to your team. It's really, really cool to see, the acknowledgement that goes on in the Shine Bright team when people are really striving and winning. And so, it's really, really important to always be acknowledging people for what they do. We all do things because we seek to be acknowledged for our skills and our abilities by others. This acknowledgement breeds confidence and high levels of self-esteem, which enables us to soar to higher grounds and achieve that which was previously out of reach. So always get into the habit of consistently and opening acknowledging people. If you go out and you meet someone for lunch, acknowledge that you've had a great lunch with them, send them a nice note, say thank you, and acknowledge, something that might have been discussed during that lunch. People always like that feedback of, thank you, and it goes a long way. So this also helps to build that level of rapport and respect. Stay informed and become an authority on redox. So becoming an authority means that you have to study your field. This is the #1 thing with a seer: know your products. And like I said, most of you know my story, but when I started, I really spent a lot of time in that first week reading, listening, watching the YouTube videos. And I still go back and I still stay updated regularly watching those videos, because you seem to forget. We can keep sending the same videos, but you know, it's also important to go back and watch the videos and watch other videos, because the videos change and information, you forget certain things. So really stay up to date and informed, because when you're informed and confident, that's what people actually respect and like. And you always want to try and see other people's point of view. So this can be really hard for some people, because we get so bogged down in our mission and what we believe in that we sometimes can't see what is coming from the other side. So it's very easy to become lost in our own perspective and our own thoughts, and we simply fail to see things from the other person's point of view. Our opinion is, after all, only one side of the coin. We've not gone through our other person's thoughts, emotions, experiences and the like, and therefore we can find it difficult to see the other perspective that's separated from our own. Even though seeing another person's point of view may seem difficult, it's not impossible. It requires a simple shift in perspective and some clever questioning that will enable you to unlock another person's thoughts, emotions, and outlook on a situation. And remember, sometimes you're just never going to change someone's point of view. If they're hell-bent on something, then take that as an opportunity to learn something. And, you know, not everyone we're going to convert today. It might be 6 months or 12 months or never. But at the same time, you want to be able to learn from these experiences when someone's really dogmatic in their approach, and really just kind of see their point of view and start to learn what their driving factor is. You don't necessarily have to agree with the person. All that's required is that you show that you understand them with a respectful, open mind. And this will likewise reveal to them that you share a set of common beliefs and values, which will enable you to develop a deep level of rapport. And smiling, and always using people's names. So when I worked on the cruise ship, it was a 6-star exotic cruise ship. We sailed around the world. We had passengers from 10 days to 28 days. And one of the things in the spa was we had to remember people's names. So if we were out on deck or in the bars and it was someone that we had treated, we were expected to remember their names. And because what happens when we remember someone's name is it's the first thing we're really assigned. So smiling and using someone's name is a really, really important skill that you should all develop and start to use. A smile to a newborn is nothing more than an automatic response that brings great pleasure and satisfaction into their lives. However, as we grow older and wiser, we begin to recognize that when our parents smile, it means that they approve of us, that they take care and appreciate who we are and what we do. We read these signals with keen eyes and we smile in return, giving back the same love and appreciation we receive. From the youngest age, we are conditioned to respond to our names swiftly and consistently. Our name is very much like a magnet that draws our attention and creates anticipation for the words that follow. In most instances, our name brings us great pleasure because it acknowledges our uniqueness and sense of self. And it is this craving for appreciation that we long for on a daily basis. We must therefore never deny others the sound of their name presented to them with a pleasant smile and a tone of voice. It is, after all, the sweetest sound of all and will help you build a deeper level of rapport with other people. And being helpful. So sometimes, you know, it's just doing the little things to help someone and being available when someone needs you. Phone, text, Facebook. I often hear someone needs to mute themselves, please. It's making a noise. What have we got here that's not muted? Can anyone see who that is?
We've got Carolyn. Carolyn, do you mind muting? I don't think the noise is coming from you. We've got Colin Glover. If Colin could mute, please.
Yes.
Thank you, Colin. That's great. And
I can't see anyone else.
No, I can't see anyone else either.
Thanks, Janine.
Thank you.
So always being available and helpful and giving without expectations. This is a really, really important one, and this is what gains you a whole lot of respect and admiration, is giving something without ever expecting anything in return. So we see this a lot in our team, cross-line, sideline, where people are just being helpful. So when you can stand up and be that person that helps, it goes a long way in respect and getting that admiration from other people. and always be sure to look out for others. I often get emails asking me to check out a competitor or another product, and I'm always very grateful to receive information from people on other products, and we engage in a really cool conversation about, you know, what their product does, what our product does, and how they can be different, and different science or research that goes on. But in the same time, when I send information to people to ask, they're always very respectful that I've thought of them and I might just be asking for their advice. So sometimes when you're talking to healthcare professionals, I find instead of trying to pitch them or target them, really reach out to them and say, hey, I've just heard of a product. I'd really like you to do some research on it and check it out for me with these links and tell me what you think. Because that way it's a bit of a non-threatening way for health professionals, where you're not really asking them to sign up to just another thing. You're really asking their professional opinion. So, you know, looking out for others and sharing information, that's all we're really trying to do here. Pitfalls of what not to do. So don't make promises that you can't keep, because a long time building rapport can be destroyed by breaking a promise. When we make a promise to another person, they immediately create a set of expectations in their mind upon which rests our integrity and goodwill. At the very moment when a promise is made, an invisible bond is created between the two of you. This bond is, however, only as strong as your word. So always stand true to your word, and what you say, make sure you can hold up and keep. So don't go out and highlight, you know, something that Renew can do that, you know, is probably a long shot, and you're sitting there praying that they get that result. Really try and make it something that's going to surprise them at the end of the day. So if you're treating someone that's got some kind of skin problem, you're not going to say use this for 2 days and it's going to magically disappear, because you've really just made a promise with them that really is a wish and a prayer. Something that's been there for a long time might require and will require a longer course of treatment. So I always overpromise something rather than, you know, make a promise that's probably not going to work. The golden rule is to simply not make any promises that you can't keep. If you say you're going to call them, then call them. You know, if you say you're going to call tomorrow and you don't call, then you've really lost some integrity in not keeping your promise there. The morning passes and you haven't, then send them a message. This sends a message of doubt, and it automatically will lose your power of influence. And don't try and be a know-it-all. When I first started with Renew and ASEA, I didn't know anything really. I'd done my homework and my research, but I really had, you know, I didn't have the practical, what's the word? Nuts and bolts that I could really say it had worked. For me, I only had other people's stories. So I was quite upfront with people and said, I don't really know exactly how this works. I've read a lot of the research. I'm really intrigued by how it works. I would like you to spend some time doing your own homework. When you come across in conversations as a know-it-all, people will see you as an egotistical brainiac who makes them feel worthless and insignificant. Allow people to shine, show their skills, knowledge, and talents, and don't steal this spotlight away from them. When you come across as a know-it-all, there's simply no room for anyone else in the picture. You consequently lose all hope of building any deep level of rapport with others. So if someone thinks they know more about redox or health, start to ask questions and learn about their product, what it is that they seem to know about, and start to engage in a meaningful conversation. Because, you know, people don't like to sit in a room with a know-it-all. I remember when I was traveling a lot and I'd been to so many countries and traveled, and I would meet a new traveler who told me that they were going to, you know, go on this great trip to Morocco, which I'd just been all over. I could tell them every single thing to do and where to go and what hotel to stay in, and backpackers. And what I learned really quickly from some of those early experiences was that when I started to become a know-it-all, they actually started to shut me out of the conversation, because part of traveling is that actual ability to travel and the journey. You don't want to go into something and know it all. So you've got to leave some room there to let them try and find the answers and the solutions. So that's why I say, you know, we're sharing information and we want to engage in that dialogue, but we don't want to give it all to them to start with, because some people need to find it out for themselves as well. And don't argue unnecessarily with people. Some people argue because they have a deep conviction of what is right and wrong. Other people argue because they simply enjoy the emotional rush that the spirit of argument brings forth in every cell of their body. Some people would call this rudeness. Others while others would beg to differ and see it as a healthy sign of assertiveness. There's no denying that being assertive is an important skill that is an essential part of a healthy personality. However, there's many situations where it really doesn't matter whether we're seen as being right or wrong. During such times, it's important to think about the long-term goals of your relationship with this person and the potential consequences that may ensue if an argument threatens its stability. So we don't ever want to get into an argument surrounding, you know, why someone is using or not using or doesn't want to use redox, or any arguments surrounding science, or, you know, just leave people and meet people where they're at and engage in healthy conversations. Because remember, it's all about raising your confidence skill so that you can become that person that can be someone, you know, that people are going to follow and listen to. So remember, this process doesn't happen overnight, so don't rush it. You just pick a few things from it. Start to learn to incorporate some of these things into your day. It takes at least 5 years to become a household name. If you try to rush the process, you could end up seeming as though you're pursuing a get-rich-fast scheme or trying to convince people into something for the sheer purpose of making money. And we all understand and realize that that's not the case here. So this process is all about actually becoming a better person. In becoming a better person, you start to lead a group of people. And when you become that better person, you start to attract people that want to become like you. So, you know, in the process of redesigning yourselves and really going out and getting things done, that's how you can get to the point, get things done really fast when you've become someone that people are going to follow. I hope that makes some sense. Now I'm going to turn my screen on here because I think there's some messages coming through. Has anyone got any questions? I feel like I'm sitting in an empty room. Everyone's muted now. If someone wants to unmute and say hi or talk to me, that would be great. Otherwise, we're right on 1 o'clock. Look at that presentation.
We're captivated, Sally.
You're amazing. Amazing.
We've been hanging on every word. Thank you.
You're welcome. Strive for the beach. Keep enrolling. You guys are doing amazing. I know in my team especially, the board's going off the radar. So well done. I think it's happening across the board and everyone is striving for the beach. Has anyone got any questions, feedback, comments?
Just a big thank you.
You're welcome. I will be running the training tomorrow night at 7 p.m. It will be on the dashboard. There is a lot of new enhancements to the back office that we learned in the Dymond call. So I will be sharing that with you all with the slides that we had from our Dymond call. And there's some really cool reports. Miriam, you need to be on that training because it will be something that you will love. Especially the Director 300 report. It's a really, really cool report. I use it a lot. So for the leaders out there that are looking for, you know, Director 300 legs and how they can find out if someone's close to being a Director 300, it's really, really cool when you understand how to use it. So I'll be highlighting that and some of the new features with some of the saved templates that they've brought on as well. So 7 o'clock tomorrow night, redoxtalks.com, and then there will be a Redox talk at 8 o'clock. I'm unsure who's running that. I think Paula is running that. And RI training, Clay Stevens on Sunday in Brisbane. So if you haven't got your tickets, get your tickets, ritraining.com/Australia. Is the link where you can buy your tickets. We'll all be there. And then Melbourne, the link, same thing for Melbourne event as well. I think that's all. So I hope you've all had a nice lunch. Hope you all learned something. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night.
Magic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sally.
You're welcome.
Sally,
Yeah.
brilliant. Thank you, Sally.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sally. Fabulous.
Thanks, Sal.
Welcome.
Bye.
If anyone wants that slideshow, anyone wants the slideshow, I'm happy to share it. Just send me a message. Bye.
Bye.